Triangle Sum Theorem, Part 5. In today's lesson, students will use what they know about Triangle Sum Theorem to find a missing angle. To find a what? Very good. So by now, you know the Triangle Sum Theorem. What does the Triangle Sum Theorem tell us? That all three angles in a triangle add up to how many degrees? 180 degrees. That's right. So let's take a look at the triangle for number 1 then. It gives us a triangle where we have 85 degrees, 55 degrees, and 4x. Well, what do we know about this triangle? 85 degrees and 55 degrees. Are those angles less than 90? So what do you think we're going to call this triangle? It's going to be a acute triangle. That's right. I just want you to write that down. Acute. This is an acute triangle. All right. So how do we solve for x? Because it used to be a question mark. What is this? Well, we can set up an equation to solve for what x is by itself. Right now, it's 4x. But let me ask you a question. What do you think this angle is? How would you find the missing angle? Well, remember the 2 steps. First, you add the 2 angles, right? And then you take what you find and you subtract it from 180. So that is what we're doing in this equation. So let's set it up. 4x plus 85 degrees plus 55 degrees equals how many degrees? The 3 angles equal 180 degrees, right? Okay. So again, the first step is to add these 2 angles. So we're going to add 85 plus 55. You can do that in your calculator. So 85 plus 55 is 140. All right, so those 2 angles will give us 140. Now we're going to break down 4x. Also bring down or rewrite 180 degrees. Great. So now do you remember what we do to both sides? What do you have to do? You have to make a t, separate both sides of the equation, make some space. And we're going to do this. First, circle 4x. We're going to find out what 4x is. I'm going to ask you, what's the opposite of positive 140? It's negative 140 degrees. Cool. All right. So now it's pretty simple. A positive 140 and a negative 40 make 0. Bring down 4x. Okay. Now 4x is going to equal 180 minus 140. What do you think 180 minus 140 is? What is it? Yeah, it's 40 degrees. Yes? So let's be clear on something. 4x equals 40. So 4x, this angle here, equals 40 degrees. If 4x equals 40, what do you think x is? What do you have to do? What is the opposite of multiplication? It's division, right? So it's saying this angle, you can find what x is if you divide this angle into 4 parts. So we're going to divide both sides by what? You're going to divide by 4, right? Excellent. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, and x equals, what is 40 degrees divided by 4? 40 divided by 4 is what? 10 degrees. That's right. So this is basically saying if we cut this angle into 4 parts, yeah, each one would be 10 degrees. So go ahead and get that down. What kind of triangle is this? It's a what? It is a right triangle. How do you know that? How do you know this is a right triangle? What does this mean? How many degrees is this? 90? Yes, this little square symbol indicates that this is a 90-degree angle. So write 90 degrees right on top of that box. And by definition, when you have one right angle, it is a right triangle. So let's write right, okay, right triangle. Great. So we need to figure out what the missing angle is. And you might already know how to do that, right? Because what would you have to add together? You'd have to add together 90 and 50, and then subtract from 180 to figure out what this angle is. And this angle they give us is 5x. So we need to figure out how to solve for 5x. So we're going to set up an equation. All right, so the Triangle Sum Theorem says you add all the angles together, they give you 180. So how are we going to set this equation up? What are we going to write? We're going to write what? 5x plus, and it doesn't matter what you write first or whatever order you write it in. It's all the same. You can say 5x plus 90 degrees, okay, plus 50 degrees. But what do they all equal together? They all equal 180, okay, because those angles form a line. Okay, so like I said, add these two together. So in your calculator, I want you to tell me what is 90 plus 50. 90 plus 50 is what? It's 140. So this kind of looks like the other problem, right? 140 degrees. So we're going to rewrite 5x, bring it down, and 180. Great. So how do you solve this equation? First, make a t. Leave some space. All right. And then we're going to circle 5x. We're looking for what 5x is. What's the opposite of positive 140? It's negative 140 degrees. A positive 140 and a negative 40 make 0. We want to bring down the 5x that we see. 5x equals, again, remember what 180 minus 40 is. It's 40. Great. So again, we have that 5x equals, this actually equals 40 degrees. Okay. But we can't stop there because we have to figure out what x is. So what are we going to do to both sides? We're going to, what's the opposite of multiplication? It's division. So we're going to divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. And what does x equal? X equals 40 divided by 5. Do we know what that is? 40 divided by 5? Yes, it is 8. So, again, x equals 8, meaning that if I took 5 times x, right? This is x, and x equals 8. That's going to give me 40. Now, let's just double check. Mentally, really quick. What's 40 plus 50? 40 plus 50 is 90, right? Cool. Plus 90 more, what does that make? 180 degrees. So we just double checking that we're right because all of our angles should equal 180. And this means what, you know, if x is 8, it means if I divide this angle in 5 parts, each would be 8 degrees. Go ahead and get that down. So let's take a look at number 3. First, let's look at what kind of triangle this is. So what does this tell you? This is how many degrees? It's 90 degrees, right? So if it's 90 degrees, then what kind of triangle is it? It's a right triangle. Very good. So put right triangle right underneath it. Now, we're looking for what x is, and we are given that we have 90 degrees, 30 degrees, and this angle right here is 7x plus 11. So what do we have to do to all 3 of those angles to figure out what x could be? If I add all these together, what are they going to equal? They're going to equal 180. So here, let's go ahead. This line's a little bit longer. Let's, instead of just writing 7x, let's write 7x plus 11. 7x plus 11. Okay? Then we're going to add 90 to it. And we're going to add 30 to it. And it should give us 180 degrees. All right? Now, this looks a little bit different because we know that we have to add 90 and 30, but we also have a positive 11. So what I want you to do is we're going to combine 90 and 30, and then we're also going to add 11. So in your calculator, we'll only add two numbers at a time, right? So what's 90 plus 30? 90 plus 30 is what? 120. And then we're going to add 11 more. So we're basically adding three numbers together now. So we're going to add, and you can add in this order if you'd like. You could do 90 plus 30 plus 11. And what do you get? All of those three numbers give you 131. Very good, degrees. Okay, so please circle that 7x. You're going to bring that down. 7x plus 131 equals how many degrees? 180, okay? Great. Cool. So, how do you solve for x? How do you solve for x? Let's go ahead and make a t. And again, I want you to circle 7x because that's what you're going to be bringing down. What is the opposite of positive 131? It's negative 131 degrees, both sides. Great. So in your calculator, go ahead and tell me what is 180 minus 131. Oh, actually, okay, sorry. A positive 31 and a negative 131 make 0. You're going to bring down the 7x. And in your calculator, you're going to tell me what is 180 minus 131. It is 49. Very good. Okay, so now you have that 7x equals 49. I want you to tell me, what are you going to do to both sides now? What's the opposite of multiplication? It's
division.
Division. And when you divide both sides by 7, okay, 7 divided by 7 is 1, and x is 49 divided by 7. Sierra, do you know what 49 divided by 7 is?
Is it 7?
It is 7. Very good. Excellent. Okay, step back for a second. X equals 7, and that means this angle right here, okay? 7 times x plus 11. 7 times 7 is 49 plus 11. What's 49 plus 11? Well, that is 60. So that means, and again, you want to plug it back in to figure out that this angle right here is 60 degrees because this is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. Okay, so let's take a look at number 4. First, let's ask ourselves, what type of triangle is this? It has an angle that's 135 degrees. So that's a what kind of angle? It's a obtuse angle. And one obtuse angle, by definition, makes this an obtuse triangle. All right. Great. So we have 135 degrees plus 24 degrees plus whatever this is going to be, 4x plus 1. We've got to figure out what this angle is, and we know that those three angles are going to add up to be how many degrees? 180 degrees. All right, so what I would like you to do, what might make it easiest for you, is to write the angle that has the x in it. So this is going to be 4x plus 1 plus, we could do 135 degrees plus 24 degrees. Okay, equals 180 degrees. Perfect. So, you're looking for what x is. Go ahead and circle 4x just to kind of separate it from everything else. And you're going to be adding these two angles, which is 35 plus 24, plus one more. So we're going to add these two. first in our calculator and then add that 1 right there. So add all 3. In your calculator, when you add 135 plus 24 plus 1, 135 plus 24 plus 1, what do you get? You get 160, or at least you should. Great. Okay, so bring down that 4x and also the 180 degrees. All right? Perfect. So we need to now solve for what x is. So we're going to circle 4x, we're going to make a t, and then what do we do to both sides? The opposite of positive 160 is negative 160 degrees. Okay, positive 160 and negative 160 make 0. We're going to bring down the 4x. All right, so now 4x equals, so what is 180 minus 160? It's?
Oh, it's 20.
It's 20, okay. You're hilarious. So that's 20. All right, so now.
Divide by 4.
Okay.
Equal by 5.
Okay, you divide by 4 and you get
5.
Okay, thank you very much. That was excellent. Okay. So let's come back to the original, which is 4x plus 1. All right, so that x, I'm going to, in its place, put parentheses. And in the parentheses, I'm going to put 5. So 4 times 5 is what? It's 20 plus 1. What's 20 plus 1? It's 21 degrees. So this angle right here, okay, this angle right here is 21 degrees. Now, let's make sure that this all adds up. If I take 135 plus 24 plus 21 in my calculator, will that give me 180 degrees? Yes, it sure will. All right, go ahead and get that down.